Coming up on this episode of Goffstown This Week, we'll chat with the town's new administrator, who is a familiar face. We'll get you caught up on this week's meetings, and we'll celebrate as one of our schools receives a major New England award. It's all coming up on Goffstown This Week. Hello and welcome to Goffstown This Week. I'm Adam McCune, the coordinator here for Goffstown TV and the host for this show. And with me is Adam Jacobs. How you doing?
Great.
Now, some people might know you as the DPW director in town, which you've been that for 2 years now?
2 years. 2 years. I came on in May, a couple of years ago, so almost 2 years.
But actually, the night after we air this, the day after we air this, you're going to be taking over as town administrator. So congratulations.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, that's quite a change.
I loosened the collar a little for the interview. It's getting tight.
Yeah. now it gets serious, right?
Right.
So tell me about yourself a little bit, about what brought you here and
Sure.
how you got to this spot.
Sure. I'm from New Hampshire originally. Went to UNH, and that's where I met my wife Tiffany. And we got married, and I joined the Navy right when we were getting ready to leave school. So I became a surface warfare officer in the Navy and moved around a bit. And after 5 years and 2 children, we decided it was time to try to get back home. So she was from Amherst, and we came back to the area and started looking for work. I was a civil engineering undergrad and done some work for an engineering firm before going to college, so I knew I kind of liked that construction realm. And the town of Merrimack had an opening in the Public Works Department. So I applied and was lucky enough to get hired there, and spent 5 years in Merrimack. And I love engineering, but I love the public service aspect of the job that much more. So the longer I did it, the more important public administration and being able to help civically became an important part of the job. So I started going to school night classes and got my master's degree with the help of the GI Bill in public administration, and then parlayed that into a public works director role here in Goffstown when the position became available a couple of years ago. And what's there not to like about Goffstown?
Yeah.
It's a great bunch at the public works department, a great bunch at town hall. Every other department has been fun to work with. Townspeople, it's a pretty town, a lot going on, good budget, good. Every part of the process, every part of the job, every part of the community has been wonderful.
It really is a nice little place because it's so unique too, because we have that like quaint little New England downtown. We have Pinardville, which is kind of like a commercial center. We have Grassmere, which is like this, rural center. It's all kind of got everything there, which is kind of great, I think.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. Lakes, mountains.
Yeah,
you name
got it all. Yeah, exactly. So you're really a success story there for the GI Bill. You're like a commercial for the GI Bill, I think.
That's right. Yeah,
That's fantastic.
They sponsored this spot.
They're now sponsoring Goffstown This Week. Well, that's fantastic. But 2 years to go to town administrator. That's great. You're filling some big shoes too.
Absolutely. Goffstown's very well respected, both in and outside the town. So well-run government and well known for how well run it is. So town administrator obviously takes a lead role in a lot of that and making sure that processes are followed, laws, keeping the focus where it needs to be. And Sue's done a great job, and frankly that's kind of the hardest part about the step I'm about to make, is to know that she's done it so well.
Yes.
How do you live up to that standard?
So for people who don't understand, what does a town administrator do?
There's a lot of administration.
Makes sense.
Happens in the town. So the town administrator works for the Board of Selectmen, is the primary sort of public face of the board on a day-to-day basis. So the board meets now every other week. Town administrator's job is, in the interim period, prepare for the next meeting, get the right information in front of the Board of Selectmen that they're going to need to make the decisions that they need to make, and act on any of the decisions made at the previous meeting. As sort of the leader of the department heads, they all work for the board as well, but the town administrator sort of helps to keep everybody looking at the same goal. Budget season rolls around, the town administrator kind of helps each department develop their budget and their capital requests, and make sure we're all not fighting for the same scraps on the table, that sort of thing. Town town administrator is in charge of the different departments of town, or the different divisions in town hall. IT, planning, zoning, building department. The town clerk, tax collector are elected officials, but the staff that work there. Probably forgetting a couple there, but GTV, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So all these, the public service components, the service type entities also are involved in administration. So pretty wide range of things. So you need to kind of be a generalist and.
Well, I mean, to me, coming from a DPW background, you kind of are almost a generalist. There's so much that goes into the Department of Public Works that you get a little bit of experience just going from that to town administration. Totally different animal, I understand, but there's a little of everything. So that's
for
a good
sure.
fit, yeah,
for sure.
And taking your shoes over at DPW is somebody that's also familiar.
Yes, Megan Terrio. She's been our town engineer for about a decade now, I think, and she tailor-made for the position. Able to step right in and hopefully take us all to new levels with Public Works. But it's been great to have her, great to work with her, and I couldn't picture a better person to fill that slot.
And I know there's a big project that's going to be going up for this summer, Main Street in the downtown part. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Sure. So as part of the capital road improvement plan for this year, we basically came to the board a couple years back when the CMAC intersection project, it was a grant project that had been funded through the town through one of the warrant articles to study the two intersections at Mountain Road and High Street. And as part of that process, it started to look like if we went out to bid, it was going to be a very expensive project. So maybe double the cost that we had thought initially. As the things ramp up with grant projects, everything gets expensive. So we went to the board with a sales pitch that why don't we, since we do a lot of in-house construction work on the roads, what if our job for the summer was Main Street rather than doing a few other roads around town? And we can do it at our rates rather than a contractor rates without the overhead and the profit. And get things done maybe a little faster and certainly more tailor-made to what Goffstown needs. So if we need to shift, schedule to accommodate a business or an activity, there wouldn't be any kind of extra costs, change orders, that sort of thing.
That makes sense.
So I think we're lucky that the board bought that plan. So we're getting ready right now. We're gearing up to start. We've got a few municipal parking lot improvements to do right off Main Street to sort of alleviate the need of on-street parking that's going to be disturbed during the project. So once those are done right near the town common and at the SAU building, once those are done, we can really start on the street itself. So we've kind of broken up Main Street from the Pleasant Street, Mountain Road intersection all the way out of town to the West Lawn Cemetery. That whole stretch will be rebuilt this year. And we've broken into 3 phases. The first phase near the Mountain Road intersection down to the bridge, and then that stretch of Main Street proper from the bridge to Elm Street we've looked at. And based on how narrow it is, we think it's probably prudent to wait until school's out and there's less traffic in the morning, buses off the streets. So this summer, as soon as school's out, we'll start that section.
The race begins.
Hopefully finish before school's back in. And then pick up in the fall on the phase 3 from Sully's heading out of town, and then we'll just go as far as time and budget allow for the season, hopefully all the way out to West Lawn.
Well, it'll be a big project. You're going to go from being directly over that to being over that.
Directly in it.
Yeah, it'll be right in it. It's going to be right down at Town Hall. It's kind of funny. So, well, thanks for talking with us here on Goffstown this week. Happy to have you as the town administrator. I think it's going to be great. And welcome aboard again.
I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks. All right, we'll be right back.
Here's 3 things from this week's meetings that you should know. There was a change in leadership at Monday night's Selectmen's meeting. Mark LeMay was unanimously elected by his colleagues to serve as chairman. LeMay had served as vice chairman for 2 years. He succeeds Peter Georgantis in the chairman's seat. LeMay then appointed Selectman Collis Adams as vice chairman. The board typically reorganizes after town elections. Selectmen said goodbye to retiring town administrator Sue DeRusso, who left the post on March 31st.
So that we all know, and it's kind of officially on the recording, our town administrator, this is her last meeting. Sue DeRusso is retiring, and we just had a little celebration for her And we thanked her for the time that she has devoted to the town, and we thank her for all her knowledge and everything she has passed on to us. So, Sue, best of luck.
Thank you.
Enjoy retirement, and I may call you from time to time if we need any questions answered. I know the guy in the back room's going to do that, but...
On Tuesday night, the Budget Committee approved the school board's request to withdraw and spend roughly $500,000 from the contingency fund for a drainage project at the high school. A public hearing gave the Budget Committee members and residents the opportunity to ask questions about the project. Approval by the State Commissioner of Education is required to spend the money. Other reserves will be tapped for the $1.1 million project. The work will include developing a retention pond, installing drainage pipes, and other improvements. And that's 3 things from this week's meetings that you need to know. Watch the meetings in their entirety on Channel 22 or on our on-demand page.
So today at Mountain View Middle School, we are having what we call a Pause Pride Assembly. This is an assembly that we have 3 times a year to celebrate the students of Mountain View. Today is a very special day because we're also going to be presenting the staff and the students with a Spotlight School banner. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to be starting off our Trimester 2 Pause Pride Day Assembly by presenting to all of you our New England League of Middle Schools Spotlight School banner.
This is a very robust, rigorous, comprehensive process where schools apply for and have a site visit to receive this designation as a Spotlight School.
There are almost 700 middle schools in all of New England. That's just public middle schools, almost 700. Only 35 schools have been able to get this award in honor, and only 10 of them are from New Hampshire.
More than anything than the actual award is the work, the collaboration, and the dedication and commitment to our kids every day who show up at Mountain View, including my own. So I'm incredibly grateful and appreciative as a parent, as an educator, as a resident of New Boston, of all the hard work.
So a huge thank you to all of you, to all of our staff members that made this possible. It truly is an amazing accomplishment and what all of you deserve. So congratulations on our Spotlight School status.
This is a school that has gone through a robust transformation over the last 4 years, and I couldn't be more proud. Thank you and congratulations. Well done.
Hello Grizzlies, I'm back, and I'm happy to introduce my new co-host, Mr. Sam Martel. Howdy. The music department now has apparel. At shirtmasters.com you can get a sweatshirt, t-shirt, or hat, or more. I highly recommend buying something. I got myself a nice t-shirt, and I think it looks good.
You know, Steven, speaking of apparel, I wanted to thank you for having me on the show, so I got you a lovely hat.
No thank you, Sam.
Really,
I'm all set.
it looks great with your eyes.
No thank you, I'm all set.
All right. Upcoming this Saturday is Semi at 7 in the gym. If you haven't gotten tickets yet, you can do that at your lunches. And while you're on your way over there, please be safe driving. The weather looks a little bit tricky with the snow. And
The baseball and softball teams will be honoring veterans through Operation Hat Trick. They'll be buying hats and wearing them at a home game in May. And you can purchase a hat with Mrs. Lambert in the main office for $20 a hat. Please buy a hat. It's for a great cause. It's very important.
MVMS has a little reason to celebrate this week. The middle school, the New England League of Middle Schools has declared them a Spotlight School, which means they have a powerful learning environment. The principal, Wendy Hastings, says that this is a distinct honor, and Superintendent Balke says he is incredibly proud of the faculty at MVMS.
Applications are in the main office for Mr. Ross's driving school, so please sign up for that. And I think that's all we have for this week.
Actually, Model Congress is still looking for new members to join. Next Tuesday from 3 to 4 is their Coffee House Caucus, where we'll be enjoying a little food. Please come down if you're interested at all.
Okay, so I think that's all we have for this week's update. So I'm Stephen Hanneberg.
I'm Sam Martell.
And we're out. Stay tuned for next week, where there may be an actual interview with Mr. Ross himself.
Here's my dress, and most of it is hand sewn, and I can't use a sewing machine. You heard of Caitlin Day? I have Caitlin Night.